I'm Grace Torie, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Grace Torie, and I'm back with a whole new podcast episode. In today's podcast episode, we are kicking it old school. As you can tell if you're watching, my mic does not want to work today, so we're just going to take it back to the days when I didn't use a mic, because I can't get it to work, and I'm gonna have to wait for Josh to get home, and he is currently at work. So I want to go ahead and get this filmed because today's his birthday and we have some plans for tonight, and I was supposed to film last night, but I definitely put it off because we love procrastination. So yeah, that is why I'm not using a mic. If it sounds a little different, that is why. I know. Ouch. Sucks. Also, if you hear any noises in the background, barking, anything like that, it is my sister's dog. I am currently dog sitting, and she is the drama. So she's barking here and there. I'm gonna try and cut it out as much as I can, but if she does a little yap, it's because she's the drama and she has to have attention 24/7, and I'm currently not giving that to her. So now that all the disclaimers are out of the way, I'm sure you saw the title. I'm sure that if you clicked on this, you are very intrigued and you want to know the tea, so I'm gonna give it to you. This is editing Grace just stopping in to say all of this is alleged. Everything Ticketmaster did is alleged. Allegedly, that's my favorite word. Ticketmaster, please don't sue me. And that's it. Okay. I have been looking for Eras Tour tickets for a while now. I'm sure you saw or have heard me talk about it in literally every single podcast episode. I have begged and pleaded and cried and done all the things to try and get them, and I think I may have found some, crossing my fingers, but I am not going to say anything like, oh, I have them, until they are in my hands, because I'm not trying to jinx them. Nothing. I am very serious about this. However, I have been keeping up with the drama since the tickets first came out. I could not afford tickets when pre-sale opened because I had just started a new job, had like $5, and even the cheapest ticket for face value was not $5. So I didn't even try to do pre-sale, but I wanted to keep up with it, and with everything going on, I feel like it's important that regardless of if you like Taylor or not, you're up to date on this, because it affects anyone who goes to a concert. Honestly, it has a much deeper level when it comes to like monopolies and how much control they have over the consumer in America. So honestly, if you want to be in the know as a consumer, I think that this is definitely an interesting story to tune in for, stay involved in, and kind of keep up to date with. So a lot of this is going to kind of go back and forth between my personal experience and research that I've collected. There are two sources for this that I'm going to link down below, where I basically just got the timeline of events and solidified everything I kind of already knew. So if you're interested in looking more into that, those two sources are down below. I'm also going to split this into two parts because there's a lot, and I think today we're going to be talking about everything pre-sale, everything back in November, and a little bit after that. And then in Sunday's episode, we're going to talk about right now, leading up to now, the start of the Eras Tour, and everything's still going on, as well as the court cases that are happening in real time. So with all that being said, if you're interested in that, you want to know all the tea, stay tuned. Before I jump in, of course, I have to do a life update. It's just who I am. I do it every single episode. I don't really have anything other than it's Josh's birthday. He doesn't want to do literally anything, and I have tried everything. So the one thing he was like, maybe we'll do that, is going to the movies. So he really wants to see the new Guardian of the Galaxy, and I've been telling him that if we go see it, I want to movie hop, because I'm not a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy and I want to see another movie. So I've kind of said, like, if we see yours, we have to see mine. But since it's his birthday, I think that we're just going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy and kind of do a little date night for him. So that's all we're doing. Like I said, I might have found Eras Tour tickets. I'm not going to hold my breath though. But other than that, if you want to stay up to date, don't forget to follow. If you are interested in anything around becoming that girl, whatever that is to you, whatever your version of the best version of yourself is, if you are interested in getting tips to help become her, Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at thatgirlthepod, and join a community of women working to all become the best version of ourselves. So with all of that out of the way, let's just go ahead and jump in. There's a lot to talk about, lots to discuss. We don't want to be going on for too long. So like I said, it's a multi-part explanation of the Eras Tour ticket ordeal, everything from getting tickets, not getting tickets, Ticketmaster as a company, Taylor Swift as the global superstar that she is, basically all from the point of view of a Swiftie, because I feel like everyone who wrote this is on Taylor's side. I'm gonna try and be as unbiased as possible, but as a consumer, it's kind of hard because Ticketmaster has just screwed everyone over and over again. But like I said, I will do my best. It's just from the point of view of someone who has watched all of this happen. But yeah, so part one. Let's go back to when she first teased having a tour. She originally did this on the Graham Norton show on October 28th, 2022, when she said that there could potentially be a Midnights tour. Something along those lines, that she wants to tour Midnights, and she didn't say anything about the rest of the eras. She didn't say anything outside of Midnights. She was still heavily promoting Midnights. This was kind of still right after it came out, and she just said she wanted to do a Midnights tour and that one will be coming. Also, if you don't remember, she announced Loverfest and the pandemic came, so everyone kind of already knew that she was interested in doing some kind of tour after Loverfest was canceled, and she wanted to, like, everyone kind of expected something to happen essentially. So Loverfest canceled, Midnights tour was the next thing to think about, but everyone had kind of been making jokes that she would be doing something that's kind of like a combination of Folklore, Evermore, Lover, now Midnight. Like, everyone had kind of joked about it, but it was a little bit too good to be true at that time. So when she announced the Midnights tour, potentially, everyone freaked out. And then a couple of days later, on November 1st, she announces the tour. She just announces that it's going to be Eras, that she's so excited to see everyone, and everything like that. And then at that time, basically, I'm going to skip forward a little bit, but at that time, face value ticket prices ranged from $49 to $499 for the absolute best spot, and then VIP packages range from $199 to $899. So extremely reasonable. These were the face value at that time before everything happened. This was what they were going into it with, which extremely reasonable, actually amazing prices. So on November 4th, she added 8 more dates to reach, I guess, like, she saw that everyone was reacting the way they were and knew she needed to add more dates, so that's when she added them. There's kind of some speculation there. It could be that she was planning to add them already and just waited to announce it, or that she saw people's reaction and said, oh wait, we need to add more dates, which is what I think happened. I'm more inclined to think that she saw the reaction and said, we need to meet this demand. And then after that, she added 17 more dates, making it a total of 52 shows, and she added 17 more dates on November 11th. So announced on November 1st, added 8 more dates November 4th, and then added 17 more dates November 11th a week later. So after November 11th, she had 52 shows set in stone. Everything was announced. Everyone knew it was coming, and everyone started signing up for Verified Fan Program. Which actually, Verified Fan Program had been closed at that time. So let's back it up a little. Sorry, this timeline overlaps a little bit. So I wish that this was something visual. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, it is. But since this is primarily a podcast, I don't want to spend too much time like on the visuals. But the timeline overlaps a little bit. So I'm sorry I can't like show it to you, but I want to do my best to explain it to you. But the 17 more shows were added on the 11th. However, Verified Fan closed November 9th. So what is the Verified Fan Program? If you're not familiar, Ticketmaster does this thing called Verified Fan. I've done it for Taylor. I've done it for One Direction. 5 Seconds this summer. It's basically when you sign up ahead of time with your email, and then you get access to a pre-sale code where you can buy pre-sale tickets. And if I remember correctly, every single fan has a unique pre-sale code. So that signs you up to buy tickets before anybody else. You're a verified fan. You get there and you can get these tickets with all the other pre-sale people. So you still have to fight people a little bit to get tickets, but you're not dealing with a general sale. So it's kind of like a soft launch, if you will. So that closed November 9th, and when it closed, around 3.5 million fans had signed up in hopes of gaining access. But of that 3.5 million, only 1.5 million were given access. The other 2 million were waitlisted. So only 1.5 million received codes, were able to get over to pre-sale with their codes and were gearing up for pre-sale, while the rest were waitlisted and told that they had reached demand, essentially. This was the largest registration for verified fans that Ticketmaster had ever seen. So they didn't expect this much, which I don't know how. We'll get into that later, but they did not expect this. This was the largest they'd ever seen, and it made history, essentially. So that was on November 9th, and then she added dates November 11th after it had already closed, which is kind of like, I don't know if she should have necessarily added more dates after pre-sale closed. I don't know if that's necessarily fair, but also they were all places, as far as I know, they were all places that already had shows. She was just adding more dates at that show. So like if they already had a Saturday show, she was adding a Friday or a Sunday, and it was at the same location, as far as I know. So I kind of get it, but she probably saw the demand for verified fan and was like, oh no, we need to add more. Then November 15th came, which was when pre-sale happened, essentially. That was apocalypse for any Swiftie fan. Hunger Games apocalypse. I can't remember what it was called. It was called Ticketgate or Swiftgate, but I remember it had some sort of like name that everyone was calling it. But when pre-sale opened, bots and unverified fans that had not gotten tickets, as well as waitlist of verified fans and the fans that already had codes, all flooded the site at once, which means that there were 14 million people on the website at once. This obviously broke the record, and the site wasn't able to handle the amount of traffic and crashed multiple times. Also, people who were given pre-sale codes, their codes did not work for some of them. It was a whole mess. Waiting times and queues were also multiple hours long. Like a common time that I saw people waiting in queues was 8 hours, and they could get these tickets, get to the end, and then somebody else already bought them. Like, it was not a good wait. It wasn't a good wait time. Like, you weren't waiting and you were guaranteed the tickets. A lot of people didn't even get tickets. The fans who finally got through that found these tickets, the tickets were thousands of dollars more than what they initially were, because of driving, what's it called? Dynamic pricing. So basically what happened was Ticketmaster had these tickets at a certain price, saw the amount of demand for them, and raised them, so they were no longer the initial starting out at $49. I think that they still have them at $49 for some, maybe like $99 if you buy tickets like an hour into the show, which is, I'll get into that. That's a whole nother thing. But basically fans were pissed because tickets were so much more expensive than they were initially told, and they had already waited in these queues, and some of them, their codes didn't even work. Like, it was a disaster, to say the least, and fans were disappointed. They were disappointed in Taylor, they were disappointed in Ticketmaster. They felt like they've been taken advantage of, but what can you do? So basically, a lot of promises were unfulfilled on Ticketmaster's side for pre-sale, and a lot of people just hated it. It was the worst thing ever. This happened on November 15th, and then on November 17th, they ultimately canceled the normal sale, which was set to happen on November 18th, because they said they didn't have enough inventory. So they essentially said they sold all the tickets in pre-sale, and I read somewhere that they only had 170,000 tickets available for general sale for all of the shows. Not sure how true that is, but sounds about right. But also, that also gets into them selling tickets now, so where did those come from? A lot of foreshadowing. I can hear this dog crying, and I'm so sorry if you can hear her. I don't know what else to do. She can't be in here because I have bunnies, and she's stressing me out. not to change the subject, but they basically blamed it on low inventory, said they sold too many in pre-sale, and they're not going to be having the general sale. So obviously people were extremely upset. Those who didn't get codes, those whose codes didn't work, those who got codes yet still couldn't get tickets are now not going to be able to get tickets at all, because at that time they made it sound like there were no tickets to be found and you could not get tickets unless you were paying the astronomical resale prices, which we are getting into right now. So immediately after the pre-sale tickets went for resale, they were disgustingly high prices. Anywhere from double their face value for one ticket to $76,000 was one that I saw. Someone was literally selling a ticket for $76,000 on like TickPick or StubHub or something like that. And considering that ticket started at probably like $500 max, $900 with VIP, that is a disgusting amount. That is a wedding. That is almost half of a nice house, depending on where you live. It probably is most of the house in some places. Like $76,000. And obviously I'm seeing this and I was just hoping to get general sale a little bit later when I could afford it, and I'm heartbroken. I know other Swifties like me, like, I started listening to Taylor Swift when I was 10. I'm 24 now. I'm sure that is a very common story among Swifties. A lot of us have been listening since her debut album, and guess what? We're young adults now. Like, I have bills, and this isn't like a woe is me type situation. It's a I'm still trying to get stable and I don't have a ton of extra money and we're going into a recession. So like it's just, let's be realistic here. Like, if majority of our fans are at this age where they're trying to establish themselves and they don't have a ton of disposable income, and then on top of that they're getting taken advantage of, like, no one's gonna be able to go unless they get pre-sale, which they were still able to sell, obviously, a ton of tickets, but for what? So, lawmakers like, and I'm sorry if I butcher her name, please don't come for me, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I know she's very popular, very big in the public eye, they took to Twitter and said, basically explained why Ticketmaster has the ability to treat consumers this way, and then states that they need to be separated from Live Nation Entertainment. So, essentially, from the way I understand it, is Ticketmaster and Live Nation merged, and when they merged, they basically took the entire market of tickets. You can resell tickets on StubHub and things like that, but who has the initial power over tickets? Live Nation Entertainment and Ticketmaster. So if tickets are only sold through Ticketmaster initially, that's the only place you can get tickets through face value, it gives them the opportunity to take advantage of more people because we don't have a choice but to buy from them. So they're breaking antitrust laws and just being extremely careless, not caring about consumers, not caring about what's in our best interest, and just doing what's in their best interest. So lawmakers basically explained that as much as they could in short tweets and said, hey, we need to fight back. This is why the merger should have never happened in the first place. This is why they should have never been given that power. So they were starting to get pissed off and start saying things like, we need to take action. On November 18th, so the day after Ticketmaster announced that they aren't going to be doing general sale, and the day that general sale was supposed to happen, Taylor went to her Instagram stories and said a bunch of stuff. So basically she said that she's looking into what happened, trying to better understand what went wrong for multiple reasons. She basically said it's nobody's fault. There's a multiple amount of reasons why this went wrong, and she's trying to figure it out. She took extra precaution so that this wouldn't happen. She's very disappointed. And she also said that Ticketmaster had spoken earlier that day, submitted a statement to the public and said, hey, this is due to an overwhelmingly high demand that we were not prepared for. However, Taylor mentioned that she met with them multiple times, reassured that this is going to be a big thing. There's going to be a ton of people, more than they've ever seen, and Ticketmaster reassured her over and over and over again that they could handle that demand, so she was, quote-unquote, very pissed off. Ticketmaster also said that only 15% of users experienced issues during that day, and only 5% of the tickets sold have resurfaced in resale at that time. But I'm going to be honest with you, based on the things that are happening right now and the things that have come out since then, I really don't believe them. There's no way that only 15% of users experienced any sort of issue at all, and there's no way that only 5% of tickets resurfaced. I don't believe that. I mean, maybe because there's so many tickets that only 5%, that's the only way I could see that possible, is because she is doing so many shows that are in stadiums. So that's the only logical reason, but it's nothing that Ticketmaster has done to prevent that, essentially. Like, they didn't do anything to prevent any of that, and there's no way it was just 15%. But that's just my 2 cents. I just think that I don't trust anything they say. I'm trying to be unbiased, but I also will get into why that. So on November 18th, the day that Taylor came out and Ticketmaster came out, the Justice Department opens an investigation against Ticketmaster/Live Nation for violating antitrust laws. This was the first sign that something was going to be done about Ticketmaster on a global scale. Like, it's not just Taylor anymore. This is an issue that a lot of people are facing, dealing with, and this could happen with other musicians. A lot of musicians were pissed off about this because it can happen at their shows too. It can happen to their fans. It's not just Swifties. So musicians are upset, fans are upset, lawmakers are upset, everyone's pissed off. But then on November 22nd, Congress announces an antitrust hearing against Ticketmaster for a lack of competition in the ticketing industry will happen. So there's officially going to be a hearing as of November 22nd. Additionally, on December 3rd, the news came out that a couple dozen Taylor Swift fans were going to be suing Ticketmaster and Live Nation for basically everything. And they were all asking for $2,500 each. However, they've stated multiple times they don't even really care about the money. They just want repercussions to happen to Ticketmaster. Like, it's not fair. It's disgusting. They shouldn't be allowed to do this. And then, as an effort to kind of help the fans, and Taylor had originally said in that Instagram story I mentioned earlier that she was going to try and have opportunities for fans to get more tickets, she followed through with this promise for the first time since saying that on December 12th, when a small amount of the verified fans who still weren't able to get pre-sale tickets were given codes to go buy 2 tickets per person on Ticketmaster. However, it was a small amount of fans. It wasn't like a massive amount or anything. And this was just like the starting to see that they're changing how they give fans tickets, and Taylor's fighting essentially. And it was directly from her team saying, like, they have to do this. We have to do something, and kind of force Ticketmaster to do that. And then on December 15th, Ticketmaster announces that they're going to sell more tickets using Tickets Today, which has been used to sell tickets before. I don't know what Tickets Today is. I need to do more research on it, but they said they were going to start using that, and since then I haven't heard anything. I am gonna honestly end the video here because this is the last thing that happened in 2022, and then I'm gonna come back and tell you guys about 2023 in the next episode on Sunday. So I'm gonna start the episode talking about Tickets Today and what that is, but as far as I know, unless it's like a behind the scenes thing, I haven't heard anything about that. So maybe I'm out of the loop. But thank you guys so much for listening. I'm so sorry this episode was kind of a mess with my mic not working, Indy's crying, my bunny's like under the couch. You can probably hear him a little bit, but I'm gonna do my best to get all the background noise out of this, get this up for you, and get another one up on Sunday. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's beneficial. If you are a Swiftie who either got tickets or didn't get tickets, I want to hear your story. So comment that down below. If you can't comment it because you're watching on a platform where you can't comment, go ahead and let me know on my Instagram or TikTok. I want to know what exactly happened because I'm in the thick of it right now. So I want to know I just want to know everybody's stories. Like, what is this mess? So definitely let me know. If you are on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it would mean the entire world, the sun, the moon, and the stars, if you were to submit a rating or review. It helps my episodes and my podcast grow 1,000 times with each rating or review. So one rating or review, if you were to do that right now, could change my world. So please, please, please do that. Like I mentioned, don't forget to follow, subscribe, collect, all those fun things. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at thatgirlthepod. And I hope you have a great night. I upload every single Wednesday and Sunday, and I will see you on Sunday with a whole new episode. All right, bye guys. I love you.